Sarah grew up in sort of a rough background and had all kinds of things happening in her early years that really weren't the best. As an adult, she came into relationships that were similar to some of those that she had grown up with. And yet through it all, God provided for her. And, well, this is her artistic response that you see before you. And this is what she wrote about it. Chained to a reoccurring spiral of hardship, is this all my life will ever be? Sometimes we wander years in painful, frightening, even desperate pathways. And when we feel consumed in those flames of never-ending chaos, we do not walk alone. I know this because I've been there. I was probably at my lowest the summer following my 30th birthday. Since I was a child, I've been in bad situations and relationships. I was completely deflated at that point in my life. I believed I was worthless. I spent the last few years looking for success in career and relationships that seemed to keep up coming short. At that time, I was eating out of food pantries. I was drowning in debt, coming home to an abusive spouse, lost, broken, and I felt so alone. I was certain that I would never become anything more than I was. I questioned my life. I questioned my purpose. At that time, there were only two things that kept me going. My children and a Bible verse that I once had learned from Proverbs, which said, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." I love that verse the best because to me it said I didn't understand my life and God was telling me that I didn't have to. That as long as I lived by His Word, I was going to be taken care of. He had a plan. And then when I least expected it, God encouraged a wonderful woman to hire me to teach art at the high school where she was a principal. I left my current life and took my son 3 hours away from the town where we were living to start a brand new life in a place where I didn't know anybody. But it was there that my life had changed. I knew that God had brought me to that place, and I was beginning to understand what He had created me to do. In my third month of teaching, one of my students lost her father. Within the week, she was withdrawn from the school to go live with another family. On her last day of class, she left a sketchbook on my desk. She decorated the cover, and it read, "My inspiration, I love you." It was for me. And I didn't really understand at the moment what she was trying to say. I was nothing special. She had never made me think that I stood out in her mind. But the book was filled with all of these pictures of her and quotes from her late father. And in there was a 5-page letter. And she wrote things like, "I don't know where I would be without you. You are the reason that I have gotten up and come to school every day. You changed me." I went to my principal with tears in my eyes, and I thanked her for hiring me. It was the first time in my life that I felt like I mattered to someone. I was worth something to somebody. And it didn't stop there. Over the last few years, over and over again, the same kind of thing has happened. Students have come into my circle, and I've had a chance to love on them and to find out that I was important in their life. Sometimes they'll drop a note or a random hug, or they'll say, "I love you," or I'll get a phone call from some graduate looking for advice or just wanting someone to talk to. And in that moment, I begin to better understand what God's been doing in my life. Once I thought that God was working in my life just to carry me along, that my horrible past was some kind of a test to see if my strength or faith would hold. But now, I think all those things were preparation. So that every student that walks into my classroom thinking that they're alone in their battle can look at me and find a friend who knows exactly where they are and maybe understands what they're feeling. I hope that they see me as living proof that God is walking with you, and that if you hold on to your faith, you'll get through it and become something wonderful, something beautiful, something beyond what you ever thought that you could be. And you